If you believe that boys should compete with girls in girls' sports, I'm sorry, you're not on the team. You have no place in this movement. If you believe, thank you. It's pretty obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you believe in racial quotas in government hiring, you have no place in the conservative movement. Sorry, you're not on the team. You're free to believe it. It's a free country, but you have no place in the conservative movement. If you believe in normalizing hatred towards any ethnic group, toward whites, towards blacks, towards Hispanics, towards Jews, towards Indians, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement. Period. And I will not apologize for that. I will not hedge when I say it. If you believe, and you will forgive me for giving you an exact quote from our online commentator Nick Fuentes, if you believe that Hitler was pretty fucking cool, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement.
I agree.
You can debate foreign aid to Israel all you want. That's fine, that's fair, but you have no place with that level of hatred. You can debate the right resolution of the Russia-Ukraine war, but if you believe Joseph Stalin is someone to look up to, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement. If you call Usha Vance, the second lady of the United States of America, a Jeet, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement. And if you can't say those things without stuttering, then you have no place as a leader at any level in the conservative movement either. Certainly not in my state of Ohio.
Treat this country like you treat your home. We don't want people to invade our home. We shouldn't want them to invade our country.
USA, 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 USA. I love you, man. It's good to be here. Io. Where my Ohioans in the house. We love you. So Charlie Kirk said this. We traveled the country last year. He said the answer to lies is not censorship, it is truth spoken with courage. You guys ready for some truth tonight? Let's talk truth. I'll tell you about a private conversation that Charlie and I had about a year ago. It was in October of 2024 in the lead up to the presidential election. We had a doubleheader that night. We started at Georgia State with one of the Prove Me Wrong events, and then we had a turning point event at UNC, and we traveled and we flew together. And we had one of our deepest conversations. It was about faith. It was about theology. We went broad, and Charlie is such a curious guy. But the thing I asked him is, how do you define faith, Charlie? And he didn't miss a beat. He's really good at this. He said that faith is about believing something that you cannot see. He said we've fallen subject to this culture of empiricism and rationalism, that in this moment in America we say, I have to believe it to see it. But sometimes you have to believe it to see it, right? I have to see it to believe it's usual culture. Charlie said, no. Having faith means I actually have to believe it to see it. We're going to talk about faith tonight. Not so much faith in God or in religion, but faith in our country, a civic faith, a faith in the United States of America. And to understand in reviving our faith in America, we have to understand who we really are as Americans. That is the question of our time. What does it mean to be an American in the year 2026? There are three competing visions right now in the country, and it's worth seeing them for what they are. The first two are wrong, and in my view, the third one is unambiguously correct. The first of those visions comes from the woke left. The woke left says your identity is based on your race, your gender, your sexuality, your genetics. That if you're black, you're a woman, or you're a sexual minority, you're somehow oppressed. If you're a white male who's straight, you're privileged. And by the way, that your race and your gender and your sexuality determine who you are and what you can believe in life. Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley of the Squad famously said, we don't want any more black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't want any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. Think about that. Your race and your gender define who you are. Ibram Kendi famously said, the remedy to past discrimination is present discrimination. The remedy to present discrimination is future discrimination. And if you disagreed with that view, for the last 4 or 5 years in this country, they labeled you a racist, a bigot, a homophobe, a transphobe, which created a new culture of fear in our country that spread like an epidemic, a fear that replaced our culture of free speech in the United States of America. And that was un-American. And we defeated that woke left at the ballot box last year when we sent Donald Trump back to the White House in November of 2024, thanks to the efforts of Charlie Kirk, perhaps more than anybody else in this country. So that's the woke left's vision, and they get it wrong.
Now, Vivek was somebody that I voted for and really wanted to be the president of this country because everything he said and stood for was for America first, for American citizens all across the board. People criticized him because of him being American Indian, because of his faith in Hinduism. I mean, they were going after this guy, but he stood his ground and let the world know who he was, what he stood for, what he wanted for this country and the future. And that's the point. That's what you want out of somebody that wants to run the country. And it's not something that he wanted to do. He's mentioned this many times that it was a calling for him to run this country, to help save America from the woke left, specifically. But learning what I have learned this far and what's been going on in this country, I'm kind of glad that he didn't become president, because there is just way too much corruption in this country that it would have ruined or spoiled Vivek's vision for America, in my opinion. And I think that, you know, there's going to be a time where Vivek does take the seat as presidency, but right now is not the time. Right now, we need to flush all the freaking corruption down the drain. And until that happens, then we can, you know, vote for him or somebody that can really move America forward and have the interest for American people and not the interest of other nations and foreigners that want to come here from other countries to change the American way. That's not what we want in America. Treat this country like you treat your home. We don't want people to invade our home. We shouldn't want them to invade our country.
Tech CEO, and I was talking to people in Silicon Valley and Wall Street about this. That took courage. I'm going to admit, it doesn't take that much courage for me to come here and tell you all about criticizing the woke left. Now let me get to the harder part. There's a different vision of American identity that's emergent in certain corridors of the online right. And it says that your identity as an American is based on your lineage. That how long you have been in the country, your lineage and your genetics tied to the blood and soil of the country determines how American you are. It is the idea of a heritage American that says the truest form of an American is somebody who is a descendant of the American Revolution period or before. And I will tell you, this idea of the heritage American, we ought to have this discussion. It's becoming more popular. I think the idea of a heritage American is about as loony as anything the woke left has actually put up. There is no American who is more American than somebody else. The American quality, it's not like the left, they believe in this non-binary stuff. There's no non-binary American. It is binary. Either you're an American or you're not. And you think about it, I could prove this to you. Thank you. I'll take some applause on that. If you really believe in this idea, think about where it leads you. Leads you to believe that Donald Trump is less of an American than Joe Biden because Donald Trump's mother was an immigrant and his grandfather was an immigrant. That doesn't make any sense. Leads you to believe that somehow Bernie Sanders is more of an American than Senator Bernie Moreno from my home state, an America First patriot, because Bernie Moreno was a naturalized citizen from Colombia. It makes you think that Marco Rubio, our great Secretary of State, is somehow less of an American than Elizabeth Warren because she's a Native American, which we all know, right? Doesn't make any sense. It's loony. It's crazy talk. It makes you believe that somehow I am less of an American than the transgender criminal who assassinated Charlie Kirk. We refuse to accept that. The idea that a heritage American is more American than another American is un-American at its core. And I will fight to the very end for that, because that's what it means to be an American. We believe in ideals. That is who we are.
Did he say that it was a transgender that murdered Charlie Kirk? I'm kind of confused when he said that, because, I mean, they're saying Tyler Robertson did it, but he wasn't the one that was transgender. Supposedly he did it for his transgender boyfriend, girl. I don't know. That sounded weird. That's the first time I heard somebody say that. Now, when Vivek was mentioning hate about particular groups, Asians, blacks, whites, Indians, Jews, all these, and, when he was saying that, a lot of people online typically are, or what I've been hearing online, a lot of people aren't necessarily hating on specific groups. I feel like the majority of people that speak about, if we're going to speak about hate, it's the what actions these groups are doing in this country. In particular, the majority of people in government. If they happen to be Jewish, it's not that we hate Jews. It's that we do not like the way things are going in government. If the majority of people in government are Jewish and things are not helping the American people, point blank. And it's not about hating Jewish people specifically. It has nothing to do with hating them. We don't even know who exactly they are. We just know that the majority of people in government, I would say the majority of people in government, are Jewish. Why is that?
Victoria Nolan, Secretary for Political Affairs, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. David Cohen, Deputy Director of the CIA, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Who's in charge of the most powerful positions of our nation? Janet Yellen, Secretary of the Treasury, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Merrick Garland, Attorney General, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Alejandro Mayorkas, Secretary of Homeland Security for our country, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Avril Haines, Director of National Intelligence, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Jeff Zients, White House Chief of Staff, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Four-star Admiral Rachel Levine, U.S. Assistant Secretary of Health, U.S. Assistant Secretary of Health. Transgender, can't figure out their gender, but they're the Secretary of Health for our country and a four-star Admiral, Jew. And Tony Blinken, Secretary of the State, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew. Wendy Sherman, Deputy Secretary of the State, dual citizenship with Israel, Jew.
That's a question people ask. It's a people question people can ask without being criticized and saying, oh, wow, you asked that question, you hate Jews? No. It's a question worth asking because it's a fact that the majority of people in government are Jewish. And why our government has been lying to us for years about certain things, the JFK, MLK, Epstein files. Now they're trying to, curve the ball on the Charlie Kirk investigation, trying to sway the American people into thinking that it was one kid who went on the roof and shot Charlie Kirk. It's just there's way too many coincidences that happened that day that are being questioned and exposed by Candace Owens. And I'm inclined to believe her more than anyone because she's actually risking her reputation, her life, her family, her well-being, her mental health, everything, her money, everything, into finding out exactly what happened that day, who was involved, and why we should keep pushing forward to make sure we hold everyone involved accountable. And, Vivek, I think his time will come when he becomes president, but, he said a lot of great things on that stage at AmFest. Now, I know Vivek is running for governor in 2026, and I hope he does get it just to get his foot in the door. running Ohio, because then that would be basically a template for American citizens to see if Vivek has the capability of making things better for people in Ohio. Let me know what you guys think about Vivek and what he said in this speech in the comments below. Like and subscribe, I would appreciate it. Till next time, peace out, everybody. This one's for Charlie.